Hello guys, welcome back to another Grav NHL recap. In this series, I discussed yesterday's NHL games, I discussed the best games, the best plays, and of course, the best storylines. Now, there were a total of 8 NHL games yesterday, and while there wasn't a ton of individual news on individual players, there was a lot of great NHL games that went to shootout, that went to overtime, that were overall very fantastic games. Now, one of those games that was not very fun was New Jersey Devils versus the Dallas Stars. You guys know that Dallas Stars are my first favorite team, and the New Jersey Devils shut them out 3-0. Not a fun day, and not a good game. Kyle Palmieri opens up the scoring on the power play, and he actually sets a little bit of history with that goal. He's actually the third player in NHL history to score a power play goal in each of his team's first 4 games. He's the third player to do it, and that's a short list. The only 2 other players to do it in NHL history were Dino Ciccarelli in 1986-87 with 5 games played, and you got Bronco Horvath in 59-60 with 4 games played. So Palmieri, so far on the power play, has been an elite company, and next game he could tie Dino Ciccarelli for that lead and maybe even surpass him in the next game. But the Dallas Stars in this game just had a couple of wide open opportunities. Jason Spezza was right in front of the door and couldn't bang it in. You got Rupe Hintz, who came in, and then it got stolen by Keith Kincaid on pretty much an empty net. There was a couple of good opportunities for the Dallas Stars. They only got 24 shots on net, so there wasn't a lot of opportunities. But they did give the New Jersey Devils 6 power plays. Of course, Kyle Palmieri scoring on one of them. The New Jersey Devils ended up getting 34 shots, but I think this was just a win that got out of their hands right now for the New Jersey Devils. They did capitalize on the opportunities that they got. Of course, with Anton Khudobin not having the stick on one play, Sebastian Day was able to score on that. So for the New Jersey Devils, they had a decent game, but the Dallas Stars just made a few key mistakes. And for the New Jersey Devils, they started out their season 4-0, undefeated. I think they're the only team left that has been undefeated so far. And the Dallas Stars at a 3-3 record. That's not pretty for my Dallas Stars fan in me, but for the New Jersey Devils and their fans, this is excellent start to the season for hopefully a good season for them. Now, the next game I'm going to talk about is between the Florida Panthers and the Philadelphia Flyers. This game was absolutely insane. The Flyers ended up winning 6-5 in a shootout, but it was back and forth, and it seemed like everybody was exchanging goals. It was a crazy close game throughout, and I'm kind of jealous that I didn't get to see it. Now, as I said, this is a back-and-forth game going into the third period. I think it was 5-4 Philadelphia. Then Calvin Pickard ends up going in net for Brian Elliott. There might have been an injury there. I'm not sure. But Calvin Pickard goes in, and the Florida Panthers score, and it goes to overtime. And there's a couple of scrambles, and it was overall a crazy game. And then we go into a shootout where the Flyers ended up winning, and they got a couple of good goals by both Voracek and Jordan Wheel. So while the shots were pretty even, I think the Philadelphia Flyers ended up deserving to get that win in the end. They did blow that lead, but they did get redemption back in the shootout. Now, the next game we're going to talk about is between the Colorado Avalanche and the New York Rangers. This was a flat-out goalie duel. It ended up going to shootouts, and the Rangers ended up winning this, but Henrik Lundqvist was amazing. I thought Varlamov was also pretty solid, too. And overall, it was an entertaining game, some great goalie saves, and some great opportunities that probably should have been goals. Henrik Lundqvist was great in regulation, overtime, and in the shootouts. He was able to spoil the Colorado Avalanche's party here, and for the New York Rangers, yes, they are in a rebuild phase, but getting a win every now and then, it wouldn't hurt. The next game I want to talk about is between the Vancouver Canucks and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and let's just say the Pittsburgh Penguins are lucky that this even got into overtime. A 3-2 overtime victory for the Vancouver Canucks. Brock Boeser with a snipe in overtime to get it sealed. He is on my fantasy team, so I'll definitely take that. But I also love Brock Boeser. He's a beast. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, the shots were pretty even. It was 28-26 in favor of Pittsburgh. But I thought Vancouver had a much better game. They got pretty unlucky. There was quite a few post shots by Roussel and Ben Hutton that could have swayed this game. And I think the Vancouver Canucks did deserve to get this in overtime and did deserve to win this game. They now improved to a 4-2 record, which is craziness. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, from what I've seen so far, I've just not liked what I've seen from them. I know it's early and they do have Justin Schultz out, but I don't think that's very many excuses. They need to get these wins, and they need to get these wins early. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, I've not liked what I've seen from them, from their play, and from their overall game. And while they do have a 2-1-2 record, which isn't bad, I feel like they're going to need to win games like this sooner than later. But for the Vancouver Canucks, they started their season 4-2. Great to see from them. And while this did happen last season, where they did have a positive record and then fell down. I feel like the same is going to happen this season. It's great to see Vancouver Canucks getting off to a good start here, but with Elias Pettersson out, I'm not sure how much this will sustain. So while the Vancouver Canucks are off to a great start, I do expect it to fall a little bit. And the Carolina Hurricanes was a pretty entertaining one, Lightning winning up 4-2, and mostly because of the effort of Tyler Johnson getting the hat trick. I'm pretty sure his fourth in his career. And the Carolina Hurricanes, they did lose 2-4, but they got 40 plus shots on net, so they've been playing amazing. Now, Demick was in net instead of Vasilevsky for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so I felt like he obviously had a pretty good game, or getting 38 saves there. He got some weak shots there. There wasn't a ton of opportunities, but the Carolina Hurricanes just blasted on the net, back and forth, and Demick was tested. He had a great game, though, and of course the Tampa Bay Lightning get that win. And also, Martin Necas getting his first NHL goal for the Carolina Hurricanes was great and great to see. It was a brilliant one-timer and a great shot from him. He was one of the more touted prospects, especially for the Carolina Hurricanes, and he's going to be a solid guy for the future for them. And him getting his first goal was well-deserved since he has some great opportunities throughout the season so far. Now, the next game between the Arizona Coyotes and the Minnesota Wild was just disappointing for me. That wants to see the freaking Coyotes have some success. The Minnesota Wild ended up winning 2-1. It was a tight game, but the Arizona Coyotes fall once again to a 1-4 record. And as someone who predicted them to make the playoffs, it's not looking too good. Brandon Perlini with a beautiful power play goal, but that was about it for the Arizona Coyotes. Darcy Kemper had an amazing game. He made quite a few great saves on guys like Eric Stahl, and of course he got a goal. Granlund got a goal. Dubnyk was also pretty good. For the Minnesota Wild, I think they deserve to win this game, but as someone who wants the Coyotes to get some wins for once, it's not looking very good. And while they didn't start their season off 0-10 like last year, it's still not off to the greatest start. And for the Minnesota Wild, this was a pretty needed win. Now they go to 2-2 for the record, and now they have some future here. For the Minnesota Wild, they needed to win against a team like Arizona that has been falling in the standings so far. And for Minnesota, while I don't predict them to make the playoffs, they did have a pretty decent game, and for right now, wins like this were needed from them. The next game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets, I was gonna say the Philadelphia game was the craziest game of the day, but this might just be it. It was 4-1 Winnipeg going into the third period, and you know why I'm mentioning this right now, because the Edmonton Oilers did something good. Ty Reddy ends up sniping it for his first goal of the season, making it 4-2 Winnipeg. And hey, Winnipeg, you got a 2-goal lead still, right? You end up taking a penalty, Oilers power play, you know how this ends. Connor McDavid snipes it and roofs it, and well, it's now a 1-goal game. For Winnipeg, yeah, it's time to worry now. Next up, you got Jesse Puljujarvi tipping in his first goal of the season. A nice pass from Connor McDavid, of course. And this goes into overtime. And the Winnipeg Jets obviously have blown this lead. They're looking to recoup. And then Darnell Nurse just dekes their jocks off. Absolute fantastic deke. Comes in and then snipes it on Connor Hellebuck. And, well, that's goodbye to any Winnipeg Jets fans' hopes and dreams in that game. What a goal by Darnell Nurse, and what a comeback from the Edmonton Oilers. I was really prepared to say the Edmonton Oilers got a 1-3 record, but the Edmonton Oilers end up winning this game 5-4 in overtime, and they improved to a 2-2 record. Now, I predicted the Edmonton Oilers to be pretty decent, being the best team to miss the playoffs, but right now, that's what I was thinking they were going to be, a high offensive type of team to where they're able to score clutch goals, they were able to get back in games, with Connor McDavid being an absolute force in this game. He was the reason why. And while there might be some games I was forgetting, I think this might be the best comeback we've seen so far in the NHL season. Again, being down 4-1, the Edmonton Oilers came back all in one period and were able to win in overtime. Not too shabby, and from Connor McDavid, a brilliant game once again. Now, with that game, Connor McDavid sets a weird record. McDavid becomes the first player in NHL history to factor into 9 consecutive goals to start off the season. The second place guy was Adam Oates with the Detroit Red Wings in 1986-87, and Connor McDavid breaking the record for that now with 9. So he's still going, I think, and I think he might still be going after this game. So maybe he continues that streak, because right now, McDavid has just been the Edmonton Oilers as a whole. The next game between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Buffalo Sabres was flat out one that I think both teams needed to win. The Vegas Golden Knights did win 4-1, and for the last game of the season, it was not really a close one. It was 3-0, and then Buffalo got the goal, I think, with the empty nets, and then Vegas came out and then scored on their empty nets. So with Vegas, they did have a good game here. They outshot the Buffalo Sabres 29-27. Both goaltenders were pretty solid, especially Fleury, who had made a couple of great saves. For Buffalo's end, it wasn't too great. I thought Milstad had a good game. Maybe Dahl had a few great passes, but overall, it was a pretty dud game for Buffalo and one that they'll want to forget. And for Vegas, again, as I said before, they needed this win. They're now up to a 3-4 record. Still not the best, but if they're going to get back on track, they need to get wins against guys like the Buffalo Sabres and teams that are lesser so right now than others. And while there wasn't the most amount of games in the NHL that we've seen before, 8 games, there was a lot of solid ones, there were a lot of close ones, some OTs, some shootouts, and of course, some comebacks, especially on the Edmonton Oilers end. So, of course, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about last night's NHL action? What were your favorite games to watch? What were the games that you were watching? And, of course, what are your favorite storylines from the Knights? Let me know down below. But that's what for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe. Again, tell me below your thoughts on last night's NHL action, of course, this video as well. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.